The United States finds itself navigating a volatile intersection of political controversy, geopolitical tension, and economic instability. Developments surrounding former President Donald Trump, First Lady Melania Trump, the legacy of Jeffrey Epstein, and the ongoing Iran conflict have converged into a complex and rapidly evolving national narrative. At the center of political discourse is First Lady Melania Trump's recent public denial of any meaningful relationship with the late financier Jeffrey Epstein. Her statement, intended to dispel rumors and distance herself from the disgraced figure, has instead sparked renewed scrutiny. Critics, particularly survivors of Epstein's abuse, have responded sharply. According to The Guardian's live coverage, some survivors accused Melania Trump of shifting the burden onto victims by calling for additional public testimony. They argued that survivors have already demonstrated courage through prior testimony and investigations, and that asking more of them risks deflecting responsibility from powerful figures. This backlash highlights a deeper tension in the Epstein legacy, the unresolved accountability of elites and the ongoing struggle between public transparency and survivor fatigue. Simultaneously, the United States remains entangled in a precarious geopolitical situation involving Iran. A recently announced ceasefire has offered temporary relief but remains fragile, with continued uncertainty surrounding its durability. The conflict has had immediate global consequences. Oil markets have been volatile, shipping routes disrupted, and fears of escalation persist. While diplomatic talks are ongoing, the broader geopolitical landscape remains unstable, underscoring the limits of short-term agreements in resolving deeper regional conflicts. The economic fallout from the Iran conflict is already being felt domestically. Inflation in the United States has risen to 3.3% year-on-year, with a sharp monthly increase driven largely by surging energy costs. Energy prices, particularly fuel, have surged due to disruptions in global oil supply chains linked to the conflict. This has created a ripple effect across the economy, increasing costs for transportation, food, and consumer goods. Economists warn that this inflationary pressure could persist, especially if geopolitical tensions continue or escalate. The situation reflects a broader pattern. Global conflicts are increasingly translating into immediate economic consequences for households. What makes the current moment particularly significant is the convergence of seemingly distinct issues. A political controversy rooted in historical associations and accountability. A fragile international ceasefire with global implications. A domestic economic environment marked by rising inflation and uncertainty. These developments are not isolated. Instead, they reinforce one another. Political instability fuels market anxiety, geopolitical conflict drives economic disruption, and economic stress amplifies political tensions. The United States is entering a period where political narratives, global conflicts, and economic realities are deeply intertwined. The Epstein controversy continues to raise questions about accountability and power, while the Iran conflict exposes vulnerabilities in global energy systems and economic stability. As inflation rises and geopolitical tensions simmer, policymakers face mounting pressure to balance diplomacy, economic management, and public trust. Whether these challenges evolve into long-term crises or stabilize through strategic intervention will define the trajectory of American politics and the global economy in the months ahead.